Good morning, YouTube viewers. Good morning, Facebook Nation. Good morning to all people, all colors, all races, all languages around the world, women and children. No matter where you are on the face of this earth, may you have the most wonderful day. May you have the most beautiful day for whatever goals that you have set forth for yourself on this day. May those goals come to fruition. So, let's speak a little loud here because I got a lot of stuff going on. So right now I'm sitting in the green of the city, and which is this topic is going to be about. You say, well, what about a town green? Well, one of the stories we're going to talk about place in actually that same area of a town green from a city where I grew up, but not this city. So before we start, good morning, and the channel is the Stupidity Within Humanity, where we look at sane people, everyday people like you and me, sane people, but something happens and they go from thinking as a normal human being to thinking irrationally in a split second. And this is the stupidity within humanity that this channel we focus on, and it's a way to help us and help me and you, as well as the people that we come in contact with, to how to sound mind in a world that has gone chaotic. So one of the things when we talk about stupidity, the subject for today is the spirit or soul. When you talk about stupidity, how they go hand in hand. Well, everything goes into one. Everything that happens all stems from the one. They're all combined, which is they all are the same. And I know that's confusing, but let me get into it with you. So today's subject is where we come from. So we're going to explain where we come from. Where we come from is a direct result of what we're seeing today, and how we misunderstand things. And one of the things that's misunderstood is the spirit or soul, and this is what I want to talk about today. You can go to religion, any philosophy, any history, even all the way from the beginning, and you'll see that people discuss a war that took place somewhere else, not on Earth, somewhere else. Even in science, this word, the great war of Tiamat, which is the Pleiades, where these beings, which we now know to be Anunnaki, where they not just in religious texts, but people who lived during that time, acknowledge, this story. So we know that there's truth to, people that came here, and they never left. They never left. And when we think about aliens, we're looking at all these movies where they show all these creepy things, but yet and still we don't look at the person that's sitting in front of us. Case being, why is it that some are born with all the chemicals that make up this earth right here? I'm sitting in the sun right now, which is a point of trying to make. I can sit here. I don't need a sunscreen. I don't need oil. I don't need to be protected from the sun. When it's cold out, all I need is a jacket. I don't need anything to protect me from winter. I don't need anything to protect me. So I can literally say that I am native to this planet. How many people that we know around us are not? And this is where you're finding these power and control. Humans fought against this throughout eternity. From the beginning of humankind, when these beings came, since that point, we've been constantly being oppressed and constantly being studied. So we have to say to ourselves, what over evolution, if we're supposed to all evolve, we have to say to ourselves again, once more, if we've evolved, we've evolved into melanin, which we probably had from the start. Why do other cultures or other groups of people that are on this earth, why have they not evolved to possess melanin? The sun shines and the sun sets 24 hours a day, 365 a year. And it's been doing that since man has been on this earth. So why are we evolving, or why have we evolved and other humans are still trying to evolve around behind us? So that's where you understand where this chaos comes from, how we're being played. So, I just wanted to bring to the awareness that some people, when I use that statement that some people are evolved to learn how to survive in the sun, but yet and still some people have already evolved to encompass everything that makes up, the sun and what makes up this earth and what protects us from all these different elements. Some people are evolving into this. So we have to say to ourselves, how does that happen? And, no matter how we look at this story, it all goes back to these fallen ones, when these ones came, and they genetically modified people, humans, and they tagged us with these, the colors that we see. Now all this stuff is coming into play because we see worldwide now, everyone is turning against everyone. And the reason that this is happening, we can look at at us in the world, but then again, you have to say two neighbors, Russia and Ukraine, those are Europeans. But yet and still, they're under different gods. They're under different fallen ones that have possessed, these lands. And these people are not human, so they don't care about human life. This is why murder and violence and everything else is so mainstream. Again, where you have people like the politician out in out in Las Vegas who stabbed someone that he didn't even agree with. And this is a politician who's sitting in a public office. And we saw that, this past year. We saw how these things occur. We see how these people who hold positions, now we are understanding where all these Klansmen, where all these extremists went to. All you have to do is look in your city hall. That's all you have to do. Look inside your city hall and you'll find racists. Because that's their goal. If we get into these places of power, we maintain power. We oppress. And then what we do is we make these neighborhoods into, oh, this is a dangerous section. And then we politicize it. And we capitalize off it. But yet and still the whole long that we're allowing things to take place. This is why we allow so many guns to cross state lines. This is why we allow so much hatred to, be spoken. Not only, from people that we should be. We can't even get that, we can't even, leave out the schools because it begins with the children. So you see, these programs that they have been running, they're flawed. And these individuals understand that. And these individuals never had a soul, never possessed a soul. So when we're reaching out and we're looking for someone who does not possess this melanin within them, how can they look at you as a human being when they are not even human? They're not. And we're expecting to make sense to a person who has no sense. This is the stupidity within humanity. So, there's not a clearinghouse to do. And again, to go with the soul, the fact that there is no soul, I want to show you where, the Queen Elizabeth, where she just passed. Now they want to do flags and recognize her all over this world. Why? You murdered, your family. You came into power through murder and everything else under the sun. You literally owned a country, which is Australia. So you don't have a soul, because at my deathbed, give the country back to the indigenous people. But no, remember the video. These people would rather kiss the feet of a terrorist before they shake the hand of a person with dark skin, a black man. And these are the people who are indigenous to Australia. Yet still, you're not trying to give back any land that you took through force, that was given to you, that you could purchase, almost like purchasing a people. So this is why things are falling apart, because it's a stupidity. You have done, your program is stupid, it's run its course, and it can't be undone. So this is why you're seeing all these people acting out the way they are. Now I want to take you, in a simplistic terms, to show you how that these people have been targeting our children from day one. One of the most prestigious cities in the country, which is Yale University. So now when they talk about the green, that's the green that I'm talking about. Whenever I hear town green, I'm thinking, New Haven, because that's all Yale, and that's where I grew up. And that green is a cultural melting pot of different people. No people can dominate that green, unlike, other places and other cities. So New Haven minority voice has a voice in New Haven. Where here, this town where I live, you're not going to get that. You're going to get the ones who trying to speak to an alien and explain to an alien what it is to be human. These people can't comprehend, they don't want to comprehend, and they won't comprehend. Just try going into not in every city, but I'm saying just in my city. Go in the city hall and see, they'll let you know real quick where you stand as far as anything you're asking for. There's 1,000 no's before any yes. Even if you have every document, every cross, and every paper signed, you're still going to find something. So like I said, when you're dealing with people like this, the world can't get any better. And these people don't possess a soul. That's all that's telling you. So why start dealing with people who don't have souls? They look at you as not human. People of color, they see you as not human because they are not human. So all they're doing is reverse psychology. So when they talk about civil war, they're not afraid that black people are going to, attack them. Afraid is that black people are going to wake up and say, I know what you're doing. You try to sit here and be my friend for 20 some odd years, and the whole time long, underneath it all, I just distanced myself from a few friends that I had that were secretly racist. So, the masks are coming off. But, to go back into New Haven Green and Yale University, what you're seeing in the background is that, there was a hate crime. And that hate crime wasn't against a band of black people attacking, white people. It wasn't that. It was the opposite. It was a band of Yaleys, or in the Yale area, so it was predominantly white group of people who saw a black person walking through the university, and they decided to attack them, brutally attack them. So, everything that's being said out here in the news is actually in reverse. It's them who want to come after us because we're no longer bowing down to them. And that's their privilege, that they had a race of people that would bow down to them. And they don't have that anymore. So these are people, again, without souls. Because anyone that can oppress will turn around and hurt. They will hurt people. Or they help people to get hurt. Or they will turn a blind eye, as we've seen, in the case that, I put up here on the screen, where you have a policeman, his father was the sheriff, he had family members going through the family, and yet still he was breaking laws. And matter of fact, he got away with shooting his girlfriend in the head. He got away with it. And, they all know it. They all know it. They all knew it. And the thing that they got him, the one crime, because they still allowed him to continue working and everything else. And when the woman came in to voice what had happened, the abuse she took, if you go into the video, you'll watch them literally berate this woman. You literally, as she wanted to get up, all the victims that went in there and spoke on that, what was happening to them, they all wanted to walk out because of the way they were being treated. So you see, the devil will do his own. It doesn't matter. Anything that goes against that common rule that they have. So, it just goes to show that, corruption is everything is corrupt. And it's going to take people like you and me that we have to stand together, because we can no longer, hide from it. Now, just like that student who, was brutally beaten, anything can happen at any given time. And the thing about it is that you're not going to get a police response, not in this city where I live, in many cities where you're not going to get a response. They'll literally hand out water bottles, to the people that's causing the violence. And we learned that from a president, the past presidents. That these people are real, they're there, and, they want war. But the thing about it is, cowards, that they won't call out for all-out war. It's because they need us to be separated from one another, because together we're a lot stronger than what we think. And like I said, they need us to divide us, and this is why divided state. So I wanted to put some of this stuff out here about souls and how people don't have souls. So we talk about, let's talk about the Memphis shooter. What makes it, you're talking law and order, more police presence, but what's making it a 19-year-old go out and commit acts like this? So when you take things, when you oppress communities, you literally are asking, you're helping out, number one, you're helping out the court system. So this has been hand in hand with you guys from the day one, which is all, again, flawed again. So we need longer bonds, we need this. No, there ain't no more people to put in jail. You fill them all up, you want to build more prisons. So, you're just dirty. That, you make up every excuse instead of looking at what it is that you have done. That every political office, as well as every, agency that's out there, as well as churches and religion, everyone's doing everything to divide people. No one's doing anything to bring people together. So, these are places where you're not going to find the soul. The soul is the everyday communication that you have with the people around you, in the ways that, you see how they impact them, what means something to them and what doesn't mean things to them. Because it doesn't matter what color you are, you're going to find people who are human in all different races. So when I sat back and I talked about the melanin issue, it's not to say that, these fallen ones and the people that have come after them, that they have, that they may not have a soul, but they understand the difference between right and wrong. So this is why this channel is Stupidity Within Humanity, because what I'm saying to you is that, a lot of these people, it's because they've done so much wrong, that when someone says something so far out and so far that doesn't make sense, they have to cling to it, because of everything else that they've done. So now they sound stupid. So now you're getting all these people out here who sound stupid, but yet and still they want to mask the stupidity, violence. And this is what you're seeing. Just like with the 19-year-old kid. So when a 19-year-old kid does something like that, it doesn't just tell me that the housing situation has failed. It tells me the education system has failed. It tells me that, that the political arena has failed, because you're not providing anything, no outlets for none of these children. None of them. And the ones that you do provide an outlet for, you don't let the rest of the world know about it. You provide these things, you'll say, here, I'm going to write this down. This is a little program that they got going. Don't tell anyone about it, because they're not going to let everybody, come. So they take their groups out of the mainstream for those that they want to educate. They're doing right now with video games. And they're going in and they're recruiting children through video games. So, we need to wake up and understand what's going on around us. And we need to do, for those of us out here who haven't possessed, we need to do whatever it takes to, to keep our souls intact. Because, the way things are going, we just see a whole different outcome. Then it's not a bright one. But we can make this brighter, going out and exercising our right to vote, because that's another thing that they want to take away from us. And it's not, they're not talking about any other race except us. That's the sad thing about it. So black people, I say that we got to wake up, and for people who are color out here, you're next. You're not seeing nothing that ain't gonna come upon you. So, it's only just a matter of time, and it's up until the point where they can no longer use different rationalities that are here in our country. They're cowering, because they say, as long as it's the black people, we'll side with you. But once it started, just like with the Asians, once it started happening to the Asians, what did they do? They were like, oh, but we're people, and they wanted to, come along with the black tag, but they knew that they could. Hopefully you can get something out of this, and, make changes in your own life to make, your life around you better. Because we have to stand. In order for us to stand, we got to stand, around our families. We got to stand around our friends. Because if we don't make those changes around those people, then no matter what we say, no matter what comes out of our mouth, literally means nothing. So with that, everyone, have a beautiful day. Have an awesome day. I got some things to do. Enjoy your weekend. Like I said, I'll be back for our part 3 of, the topic that we're under right now, which is where did we come from, and stupidity within humanity. So it shows you where we came from, because where we are today, It's nothing that I experienced as a child. It has gotten far worse, and it's getting worse by the day. So have a great day, everyone, and please let everyone peace and blessings.